Alright, I'm going to try and duplicate this pipe here, this part of the exhaust. The little video we just did of the paint was, it's a little short, so we're going to add this on to the end of that. I want to give you guys your money's worth, right? Alright, so let's see. I'm working one-handed here. We're going to need sorry about that, 16 inches and a 16th. We're going to go for the exact measurement that one is, even though it's not critical. Alright, we've got a stainless steel pipe here, and I'm not happy with the cutting edge on there because I didn't cut that, that's just the way it was. And it appears to have, I don't know if you can see it, but I can. There's like a little dent in it. Here you go. Little dent right there. So I'm gonna cut maybe a quarter inch off of that and try and make that square. You know, it's funny. You know, a little piece like this, you think you throw it in the saw and hack it off, and you know you're done. But a piece like this might take you an hour or hour and a half or so because of little things like this. Has a notch on the end. I'm gonna have to put a notch in it, and other things that lengthen the process here, or the progress. So let me hack that off and try and square it up. Okay, I know, should put some oil on it, right? Alright, that cut was pretty good and pretty square, but we're going to try to get it a little better. You know, I don't think that's exactly perfect. Good enough for what we're doing. I mean, this isn't critical. I mean, it's an exhaust pipe, but we put it in a sander and try to get that perfectly square. Alright, put on a sander, and that's about as straight as you're going to get without putting it in a lathe. And I'll show you how we did that with the other side. But let me take a measurement and cut that other end off. All right, I'm not even going to measure. I'm going to sit it up on the flat of my drill press over there. I know that that's perfectly flat. And then I'll stand the other one up next to it, and then just put a mark. All right. Let me get the other one over there. Alright, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but what I did is I took this other piece, this piece of stainless, and just marked it up here with black magic marker. And I got them both standing flat on my flat here, the flat of my drill press, and I'm just going to put a scribe mark on it. That's just black magic marker. So that's our final mark. That's what I want right there. Okay. Alright, we got you in the saw now. I don't know if you can see it because there's a lot of glare, but I'm leaving about a 1/16 of an inch there, and then we're gonna sand the rest off, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, there you go, you can see where our mark is. Alright, we're over here at the disc sander, and before you ever try and make a square cut and everything, always make sure your shit is square. And ours is. Always check that. Because sometimes, you know, people lean on the plate here and stuff like that and they'll throw it off, but we're good to go here. Alright, another thing I want to show you. Right, I got this miter right angle, whatever the hell this thing's called, but these things aren't always perfect. You can see that there's play in them, and I'll show you how you compensate for that. Alright, you can see here that saw cut wasn't all that straight. That's why I like to straighten this shit up on the disc sander here. You know, I would put that in the lathe here because I have enough space. You know, it's an 18-inch lathe and it's a 16-inch piece, but I don't have a centerpiece. you know, and that's just too long and it would be too wobbly. So that's why we're doing this. But anyway, like I said, this isn't all that critical anyway. And let me put these back up on a tripod. Alright, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to hear, so just keep your eyes open. Keep your eye on your mark too. You don't want to go past your mark. Alright, by spinning this, it's going to keep you pretty square, you know. That'll compensate for the wibbly wobbly where you at, the wibbly wobbly in your miter. Alright, let's see what happens. Alrighty, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm right on my mark there. Well, yeah, okay. Alright. Okay, where you at? Here's that end there. I didn't do any filing on the end there. I just took a piece of 220 sandpaper and just smoothed it out a little bit. It wasn't really rough at all. But let's see how it fits. It fits pretty good. You know, it looks like it's loose. You know, but we didn't make that notch in it. Where are you at? Can you see that notch in there? Probably not. Not enough. Not enough light. But anyway, there's a little notch. And here's the original piece. And the original piece fit in there a little loose too. You know, so that's it's just the way it is. But before I do that, I think what I'll address is this piece here. This actually goes in here. I'm going to try and keep you guys in a frame. It's pretty tough. Anybody that does videos here or movies, they know. There you go, okay. Alright, that looks a little tough. I mean, it's fitting, and I could force it in there, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather have it just slide in snugly. So, what I'm going to do is clean out all the carbon and see how well it fits. And then I might just have to sand down the stainless steel a little bit. Alright, let me clean out all that carbon. Alright, moved you over the bench here. And I'm just using a little screwdriver here. And it seems to be working pretty good. See it all coming out, look at just a couple seconds there. Huh. I just noticed there's a, couldn't see it before, but there's a bevel here. So maybe I'll bevel the end of that. Try to keep you in frame here. There we go. Alright, yeah, that's scraping out pretty easy. Okay. I'll finish scraping this out and we'll get back to you guys. Alright, here's all the carbon that came out of there. It was pretty thick stuff. And here's our piece of pipe here. And it actually fits pretty good. After you're having a tough time getting it in there, it's got to be perfectly square. And then I twist it in, and you can feel it bottoms out. There you go. So that's going to be perfect. You know, that'll hold it in place, and then the bottom will go on from there. So yeah, we're happy with that. That came out perfect. All right, like I say, I can get it out. I got to twist it here. There we go. Like I said, there's a bevel down in here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think I might just throw a little baby bevel on the end of this, so it sort of fits perfect. All right, enough of that. All right, let's put this notch in here. See this notch? That actually sits on top of that, there's a little square lobe in there that sits on top of. Alright, but this notch isn't even square, so like I say, it's only an exhaust pipe. The one side is an 1/8 deep. I don't know if you can see that because of all the glare. And the other side is like 3/16. So it's on an angle, like a 3/16 angle. And it's also 5/8 wide. And I stuck it in here. And it actually doesn't even have to be that wide, you know. Put it backwards, here you go. I don't know if you guys could see it, but in there, you see the play? It's in that notch now, and that's how much play there is. So that notch only has to be 7/16, and that's what we're going to do. Alright, I could put this in the mill and stuff and notch that out on the mill, but I'm going to do it by hand. I'm going to use my little pneumatic saw, my little pneumatic hacksaw, and then probably just do the rest of it by hand with a file. Alright, let me throw this in the vise. Alright, let me finish this up and then we'll go file it. Alright, we're just about there. Remember what Road King always says, the file is your friend. Alright. That looks pretty good to me. Alright, let me take that tape off and give it a whirl. Okay, we finished that up there and it came out pretty good, works pretty good. Let me show you what that's got to meet up to. Let me see if I can give you a little light here. Here we go. Yeah. You see that? It sits right on top of this little ledge here. And that just keeps it from going down, because if that pipe slid all the way down, that's your exhaust, and that would block off your exhaust completely. So let me shove that on there and see what it looks like. Alright. This side is fitting pretty good. Alright, but this piece here, like I say, that little knob goes right onto there. Fits right onto there. Okay. Fits so good I didn't even realize it was on. Okay, let me set this here. So it works pretty good. Alright, let me set this down and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, it's pretty dark in there, so I'm going to try and shine a light in there so you can maybe see something. See that little stainless steel notch? Sits right on top of that little boss to keep that from going any further. I don't know if that's going to focus in or you can see it or not, but okay. Like I said, we just want to add a little bit on the end of this video so you had something to look at. And we're running out of juice in the camera anyway, so we're going to call this a video. Alrighty, enough of this.